Hi everyone, I'm Shannon and welcome to today's video. So today's video I'm so excited to do because I have gotten so many requests. When are you going to do the best and worst rooms of Disney's Port Orleans French Quarter? And the answer was always when they announce a reopening date. And they have now announced a reopening date. And that is going to be October 28th, 2021. So if you're watching this after that date, it's already reopened, hopefully. But I have gotten so many requests. This is such a beloved moderate resort. I personally have never stayed there, and I really want to because everybody raves about it. This is so many go-to, especially DVC members. DVC members, if they run out of points and they need to pay cash, so many of them love French Quarter. So let's go ahead and talk about it. It opened May 17th, 1991, and I did say the reopening date is October 28th, 2021. It has 1,008 rooms, and they are 314 square feet. So they're the same size as the Riverside rooms, but as you can see, Riverside had 2,048 rooms. So it is, less than half of the rooms or less than half of the size of Riverside. And I think that's one of the reasons why people love it. The bus stop is not going to be as busy because you have half the amount of people there. Kind of a more of an intimate feel. So people love French Quarter. Let's see. It has 5 different types of rooms, and they are standard view, garden view, river view, pool view, and king bed. So basically the 4 categories of the first 4, they all have 2 queen beds, and then there's the king bed category, but there's no standard king bed, pool view, garden view. It's just king bed category. So those are the 5 categories at Disney's Port Orleans Resort French Quarter. Now let's go to TouringPlans.com and take a look at the resort. Okay, so as always, we're starting on TouringPlans.com's page dedicated to the resort. And here we have Disney's Port Orleans Resort French Quarter. As you can see, it is scheduled to reopen on Thursday, October 28th, 2021. And here you can find all the information you will need to know about Port Orleans French Quarter. As you can see, it has that New Orleans style decorations, and here's some pictures of the lobby. So here's getting to know Port Orleans French Quarter Resort. So here is some pictures of the rooms and just all the information. As I stated before, these rooms are 314 square feet. There is a good video on staying and a room tour on TouringPlans.com's website. You can also find it on their YouTube channel as well. So there's a lot of information, talks about the dining options. Now, you do have access to the Riverside portion, so you can walk between. They are walking distance. It is, a decent walk, but you do have access to the amenities at the Riverside area as well. Here's some pictures of the pool, the playground, and let's see where the playground is. A small playground is located between the Blvd pool and the hotel lobby. So that's where it's close to the lobby. And there you have it. So there's the overview of Disney's Port Orleans Resort French Quarter. So here is the official Disney map of Disney's Port Orleans Resort. Now, as you can see, this has both the Riverside and the French Quarter. And as you can see, the French Quarter is essentially half the size of Riverside. And that's one of the reasons why people love French Quarter so much. So let's take a look at the French Quarter side. And here you have the lobby, the main lobby, where you'll have the food court, the gift shop, as well as the bus stop is going to be right here. So all your main things are going to be here. This is where the Blvd pool is, and this is the playground right here. So it's really close to buildings 2 and 3 in between the pool area and the lobby area. The arcade, I believe, is this right here, R. So everything is right around here. Now, what you can see here is D. This is going to be the boat launch to take you to Disney Springs. So we'll get into that in a little bit later, but that is where you would take the boat to Disney Springs. So there you have just a quick overview of the official map. So here we are looking at the hotel room map. And before we get into the specific categories, one thing I will note is that there is no preferred category. There's standard, garden view, river view, pool view, and then king bed. So there's some buildings have several different categories within them, but I want to take a look at which I think are the best buildings and which I think is the worst. So the best buildings, personally, my best building would be building 2. You have it's very central. You also have it very close to the boat launch if you want to go to Disney Springs, as well as very close proximity to the main lobby, as well as the main pool. And since we typically bring our car, it's actually pretty decently close to a parking lot, definitely closer than building 5. 5 is a little further distance to the boat launch. It's probably the most centrally located of the buildings, but equal distance to the pool, probably equal distance, maybe a little closer to the bus stop since it's going to be on this side, and then it's a little bit closer to Riverside. The worst building I would say is building 7. Building 7 is just far away from everything. This would only be a good building if you plan on walking to Riverside, but honestly, I don't recommend that. So I still wouldn't recommend building 7. And in fact, my co-host from DVC Newscast, Pete, said he was one time in building 7 and they actually asked to be moved because it was so far. So he thought this was the worst building. So keep that in mind. So now let's go ahead and take a look at the views because they are going to be different in each category. Okay, so first we're going to look at standard view 2 queen beds. And this is where I would say I would be looking at either buildings 3 or 4. My personal preference would probably be 4 just because it's closer to the bus stop, but I think you couldn't go wrong with either one. Let's take a look at which rooms are standard. So if you wanted to be as close to the parking lot as possible, then these 2 rooms, 4102 or 4103, are going to give you a really close, there's the parking lot just behind the trees. So that would give you great proximity to the parking lot. However, these rooms right here, so we have 4125, 4124, and so on, are going to be very, very close to the main lobby. So that's a look at building 4. And now let's go look at building 3. And again, it's going to be the same thing. So this is the main lobby. This is going to be the parking lot. So let's take a look at this. If you're at the parking lot and you wanted to have close proximity to your car, then 3148 might be great because you'd have very, very close to your car. However, you could be right here and be very close to the lobby as well. So that is 3134. So as you can see, standard view at Disney's Port Orleans Resort French Quarter can actually give you great proximity to the lobby, the food court, and the bus. Decent proximity to the pool, but it could also bring you pretty far out. So you definitely want to request buildings 3 or 4. So now we're going to take a look at the garden view. And as you can see, garden view is actually in every single building. So let's take a look at what rooms are garden view in my preferred building of building number 2. And the entire area where I would probably want to stay is garden view. So keep that in mind. If you wanted to be close to the water launch over here, then these 2, but this all area. But I would request one of these personally, and my pick for this category would probably be this corner room, 2101. And I'll tell you why right now. So 2101, just on the corner, let's go back to the resort map. That is going to leave me right here. So it's really central, pretty close to the pool, pretty close to the parking lot, decent, pretty central location to the boat launch as well as to the lobby. So that would be where I would request if I'm in garden view. Now let's take a look at building 5. And building 5, the same thing. So here is the pool right here. Here's the river. So I would probably request this building right here, 5148. So this might be a good building if you you don't have a car and you're not worried about being close to the parking lot, then maybe you want to be in building 5 because you don't need to worry about the parking lot. So let's take a look at the map right here and where that would bring you. So that would bring you right here. Actually, it would probably bring you a little bit closer to the bus stop. Great proximity to the pool. So that's a great building as well. Now let's take a look at buildings 3 and 4. So let's look at 3, which ones are garden view. And basically it's the back side. So garden view, if you're more important about being close to the lobby as well as the bus stop, then maybe you just want to request this room right here on the back side, which is 3132. So it's basically just the back side of where we requested for the standard view. So that's 3132. And we'll take back a look at the resort map on where it is. And that's going to be right here. So very great proximity and not too far from the pool. The same thing goes for building 4. And if it clicks on for me, there we go. And again, it's going to be on the back side. So this would be room 4127, great location. And actually we have some comments. If you want to be close to the restaurant, pool, and front desk and not have stairs, this is perfect. The door in the first photo is the Floatworks and Food Factory. We enjoyed being able to get coffee in just a short walk every morning. So that is, I mean, that's where it's at. How close can you be? That is a great location. So honestly, 4127, I think, is a great location, and that's going to bring you right here. So really great location if you want to be central, really close. And maybe you're not going to the pool or not going to Disney Springs, then this would be where you would want to request. Okay, our next category is Riverview. So I will say of the 5 different categories, Riverview would probably be my least favorite, just because if I was doing a park intensive trip. If we were doing like a staycation and spending a lot of time at Disney Springs or at the pool, then I think the Riverview would be nice. Or if we were just spending a lot of time at the resort. So of these 2, I think buildings 2 and 5 are going to be the most preferred. So let's take a look at building 2. So any one of these 6 rooms right here, and it's going to have a really nice, so this is 2128, really nice view of the river. And then now let's look at building 5. Let's take it, of course, it's taking a little time. There we go. So that's going to leave you right out here. So not too bad, but obviously not as close to the main lobby. And then if we look at 5, it's going to be here. Now this is the one room what I would say avoid, which is 5117. And I'll tell you why. And let's see. There we go. So this is right outside. I guess this is probably garbage, but I don't know how long that's often there. But that would be the room that I would avoid. If you were going to request building 5, then I would start at 5122. There you go. The one I would say the building I would try to avoid is building 7, again, because it's just going to be a very far walk. You're just going to be far from everything because the rooms are going to be on this side. So if you're requesting, if you have Riverview, I don't think necessarily 1 or 6 are bad. 1 might be good if you have a car because you would probably be very close to your car, but I still think 2 or 5 are going to be the better options. Now, if you wanted to guarantee that you are going to be in buildings 2 or 5, the category you want to book is pool view, and that is because they are only in buildings 2 and 5. Now, I always say I like a first floor room, so I would request building 2 because in building 5, there are no pool view on the first floor. So here you see floor 1, building 2, and it would be any one of these six rooms right here. I personally would request this one right here, which is going to be 2138. There you have it. There's the pool. And the reason being is when you go back to the resort map, it's pretty central. It's going to be right around here. Great proximity to the pool. You have the lobby, the boat launch, just very, very central. Next location would be building 5, but if you look, it starts on floor 2. So there are none on the ground level. That's fine. Personally, I like being on the ground floor. If you don't mind, and maybe some people don't want to be on the first floor, then maybe you want to be on one of these, then I would suggest probably this one right here on the corner because it's right next to the elevator. And this would be 5316. And you got a beautiful view of the pool. So that just looks like a lot of fun right there. So if you don't like being on the first floor and maybe you want to be on the third floor, then I would request 5316 in the pool view category. Okay, and the last category we have is king bed. And as you can see, king bed is in every building. But this is the key. There's only a few in each building. So let's take a look at building 4. And as you can see on floor 1, there's only 4. So this is going to be the lobby right here. This is close to the parking lot. We'll go to floor 2 and you'll see there's 3. And then floor 3, there's 3 again. So let's go back to the resort map. Then you're going to go to, let's look at building 2. That's my favorite. There's 3 on the ground floor, 1 right here. This would probably be my choice. Let's go up the second floor, same rooms, and the third floor, same rooms. So in this category, what I would suggest is figure out what your preferences are. Do you want to be near the pool and the boat launch and be central, or do you want to be close to the main lobby? And then when you do your room request, then I would say what's most important. For me, obviously being on the ground floor, that's most important. So I would put first floor, and then I would say which categories I would want. So I would say building 2, 5, 4, then 3. Like basically I want to be in the first floor in the rooms in that category, in that order. So that way they know kind of what I'm looking for, want to be central. So because there's so few king rooms in each building, I think it's more important to basically list the rooms or the buildings in order of preference. So now we are back at my dashboard, and as you can see, I've plugged in a sample trip for Disney's Port Orleans Resort French Quarter, and we are going to hit request room, and that is going to bring us back to the map we were just at. And let's say I have booked a king bedroom. So I'm going to do king bedroom, show matching rooms, and it's going to pick up, obviously, as I just mentioned, the king bedrooms are in every building. So show matching rooms, it's not coming up. There we go. And then we're going to click building 2 because that is my preferred building. And I am going to request this room right here, which is 2140. So if you see at the top, it says click here to make a request for this room during your upcoming sample trip. There we go. I'm going to click that. And that is going to bring me back to the dashboard with that room number plugged in. So now it says requesting room 2140. Do not stop here. That does not request your room. You have to now go to configure room request. So that is going to pop in. You need to put your reservation number, all of that. If you've entered in your trip in your dashboard, this will automatically pop up. Now that has said what it is. Now these are not going to be relevant, but I would not touch that because you're booked in the king bed category. So I would just leave that. What I would put here are my preferences. I'm going to put, let's just say preferences, and then 1 first floor room, and then let's go return, and then 2 will be building order preference will be 2, 5, 4, and 3. So that way now they know those are the orders that I want, 2, 5, 4, and 3, and hopefully they find and I want to just say 3, let's say want to be central. There we go. You can put whatever you want here. This is just what I usually do. I usually do bullet points, and it has worked out really well. Then you're going to click save, and now we will attempt to send this room request starting 30 days prior to your check-in date. And that's it. So you just need to make sure you configure that room request, have that in, and then make sure you put something in the notes to let the room assigner know what it is you're looking for, just in case this number is not available. And that's it. Well, there you have it. Those are my best and worst rooms at Disney's Port Orleans French Quarter. I know so many people are so excited to have this resort reopen, and I can't wait to eventually stay there. As a reminder, TouringPlans.com is a paid subscription service. They do have free things on their website, but the fax and the room request service is part of the paid subscription. I am not sponsored by them. I pay my subscription. I have been paying for my subscription since 2016, and I happily do so because I use it everywhere I go. It's not just this feature. You obviously got the Touring Plans, and then their Lines 2.0 app is phenomenal. So with that, if you like this video, click like, click and subscribe. That way you get a notification every time I post a new video. Bye everyone.